Hi there, back again here with me Rati in Mami Beluga Investing. This video is another breakaway from stocks in Straits Times Index. Today we're going to talk about UMS Holdings Ltd with the stock symbol SGX55X. Where UMS is one of the stocks that Teddy Beluga has been holding for quite some time. You can check his portfolio growth in lab-rat-wordpress.com. I also put the link in the description box. After looking at the numbers and other qualitative insights, my quick take for UMS Holdings are: the first one, it's a growth company and the market seems to be valuing it conservatively. 2, the growth is driven by its semiconductor segment. 3, I applaud Teddy Beluga for having portfolio here since I think it's a good decision. Okay, follow my videos as I look at the numbers, and please consider to subscribe because it means a lot for a beginning YouTuber like me. If you have any comments or input, do not hesitate to put in comment section. It'll probably help me to get more perspectives and learn more. Okay, before getting into the data, I read out the disclaimer first, okay? Disclaimer, this is an amateur video. My main intention is to record my own journey learning and practicing investing from scratch. This video shouldn't replace any financial advice and neither suggestion to take position, buy or sell in the stock market. Please conduct your own research before making any decisions. Okay, now let's start from quick company profile. Okay, according to its 2020 annual report, UMS Holdings history started in 1984 through the founding of Long's Manufacturing in Silicon Valley, USA by Andy Luong. Andy Luong is the current company CEO, and he founded Long's Manufacturing just shortly after college. The report also said that he's an experienced machinist and has been the chief operating officer since 2004 and becomes the CEO since 2005. In 1996, 2 years after its founding in the US, UMS Singapore was started. In other parts of 2020 annual report, it was stated that UMS Holdings Ltd was incorporated in Singapore on the 17th of January 2001 as a public limited company under the name Norelco Centraline Holdings Ltd. And the group was created in 2004 via the merger between Norelco Centraline Holdings and UMS Semiconductor. Then, in 2009, after a merger, a big investment in some new business segments, UMS Holdings started its operation in Malaysia. 2011 and after is a period marked by several acquisitions. They are such as Integrated Manufacturing Private Limited and Integrated Manufacturing Technologies LLC in 2011 and 2012. And then 50% equity stakes in Calf Engineering, a water and chemical engineering solutions company in 2017. Then 29.5% in JAP Holdings Limited, an aerospace component manufacturer. Then lastly, 70% equity stake of Stark Singapore, a non-ferrous metal alloys specialist. The company seems to be still at a growth spurt as it raised its stake in JEP Holdings to 38.7% in 2019 and acquired additional factory building in 2020, just last year. From its 2020 annual reports, UMS stated that his business is providing a one-stop strategic integration partner. It provides equipment and engineering services to original equipment manufacturers of semiconductor-related products. I couldn't find the definition of UMS here, except it was a rename from Ureco Manufacturing Private Limited. The company now operates its business via 17 subsidiaries, as we can see on the screen. As for 2020 annual report, some of those companies are no longer active. They are, first, Ultimate Mechanical System in Malaysia, 2, Zhejiang Kaifu Environmental Treatment Project called Limited via Calf Engineering. And then the third one is All Star Manufacturing in Malaysia. Then the fourth one is Ultimate Manufacturing Solutions, also in Malaysia. The company's income can be classified into two segments. They are semiconductor and others. Okay, the rest of the business sector. Semiconductor business contributed, as we can see on the screen, 93% of its revenue. The semiconductor segment provides precision and machining components and equipment modules, for semiconductor equipment. Manufacturers, the other segment mainly provides shipment of water disinfectant system and trading of non-ferrous metal alloys. In terms of the company's ownership, it is pretty interesting. The founder, Mr. Andy Luong, still holds the largest interest to the company. This put him in an interesting position as an owner and executive of the company. So an active owner in my opinion. On the positive side, he has a great interest to make sure that the company is doing well. Holding significant voting rights give him certain flexibility to make major decisions in the company. He's less likely to abandon the stock when things go sour, right? Okay, however, on the other hand, he is also less challenged for his decision. Great powers comes with great responsibilities. Okay, that was a quick review of the company's profile. Now let's have a look at the company's performance. Let's start with its EPS history. Okay, as usual, here I plotted UMS earnings per share for the last 15 years. I also added, as usual, a horizontal green dashed line as a guide to zero level. Earnings below this line indicates that the company is recording a loss for that particular year. Okay, at a glance, you can see that UMS Holdings is growing steadily. However, there's one notable extended drop, which was from 2008 that led to a loss in 2009. Between 2006 and 2008, the company reported easing sales from the semiconductor business segment. There was a slowdown in the global semiconductor market back then. Okay, from the 2009 annual report, the company loss was attributed to several factors. The first one is a 20 million non-cash loss of impairment of goodwill. The second one is lower sales. The third one is forex differences, that is weaker US currency against US dollar. Okay, apart from there are also a few other minor drops. They are in 2012, 2016, and 2019, which seem to be due to business cycle. 2019 drop seems to be affected by the US-China trade war. The situation seems to be getting better. In 2020, the demand is back amid the pandemic. That there was a notable earning drops in Q4 2020, which is not visible annually. The company's press release mentioned that for the fourth quarter of 2020, the profit decline was due to, the first one is, a one-off of 7 million impairment of goodwill in its subsidiary CAF. And then the second one is an investment in the associate company JEP. Then the last one is a 2.5 million share of goodwill impairment in JEP as well. Okay, what is a goodwill impairment? From my understanding, it is a recorded paper loss for some company's assets. For example, here, UMS bought some JEP stocks and then the stock's price dropped. This drop was then recorded as goodwill impairment. So far, for the first quarter of 2021, we have seen that the company reported a record earnings. This condition is amidst the background of ongoing pandemic and as semiconductor sector is ramping up their capacity to meet the chip shortage situation. 2021 stellar earnings is reported to be contributed by semiconductor segment. Geographically, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Singapore operation reported increase in earnings. Okay, so that was the company's profitability, its EPS history from 2006 to 2020, and some explanations. Now let's take a look at the perks for shareholders. Let's take a look at UMS Dividend's history. To see the sensibility of dividend payouts, here as usual I plotted 3 layers of information. The first one is the dividend payout over the last 17 years, which are plotted as red round markers connected by a thick red line, as we can see on the screen. On each of the points, I have annotated with 2 numbers. The numbers above the markers are the dividend payouts in Singapore dollars, and the ones below are the payout ratios to the respective year's earning per share. As a comparison to the earnings, here I plotted back the earnings per share as a thinner line with the same color. Here is the red color. At a glance, we can see that UMS payouts are very stable for at least 10 years, regardless of the company's cyclical earnings. There are 2 instances where it seems it paid out unusual amount of dividend. They are in 2008 and 2009. In these 2 years, the company saw reduced EPS as a result of reduced in sales and weakening of US dollars with respect to Singapore dollars. Yet the company's dividend payouts are stable compared to the previous and the year after. Other than that, for the last 10 years, the company seems to pay reasonable dividend payout. It distributed between 20 to 50% of its earning as dividend, a pretty decent amount, in my opinion. Not pushing hard for dividend payout seems to give the company ability to pay stable dividend. The company has a habit of paying dividend multiple times in one financial year, generally 4 times a year, but sometimes 5 times a year. So the 2021 dividend payout shown here may not represent the entire 2021 payout. Okay, that was the dividend history from 2006 to 2020. Now let's see how this dividend yield compared to bank deposit benchmark. Okay, now this is a rather new graph which I have only used on 2 videos so far. This graph helped me to track the dividend yield over time, which then can be benchmarked against yields of fixed deposit or other kinds of passive income. I think it will benefit greatly to some people that invest for dividend or the so-called dividend hunter. So here I plotted the average dividend yield per year as the round markers. At each markers, I placed an error bar, which represent the range of yield over that particular year. The variation in a year is caused by the volatility level of the share price. The yield increases if the share price decreases and vice versa. Okay, quickly we can see that dividend yields for UMS are definitely much better than the bank fixed deposit interest rate. The dividend yields have been steadily increasing since 2004 of about 1% to its peak of average of 12% in 2010. Depends on the stock price. The dividend yield could go as high as 25% and as low as 7% in 2010. Okay, the dividend yields have been steadily decreasing since 2010, mainly contributed by the share price that has been increasing faster than the dividend payouts. Up to 2020, dividend yield is average at 3.86%, which is at its lowest price could be about lowest price could be about 7% and highest price could be around 3%. All of those numbers are way better than bank deposit rate or Singapore saving bond, which has fell below 2% since the later part of 2019. Okay, for me, so far I like what I see. So the next question is the price reasonable? Okay, to see the UMS market valuation here, as usual, I plotted 4 layers of information. They are: first, the price, which represents market valuation of the company. It is also the easiest information that I can obtain. I can use the search term UMS share price and it will pop me with this graph we have on the screen. But price alone, as we all know, sometimes misleading for the value of the company and its prospect. So I'll include some fundamental indicators to help me to decide. Okay, the second layer of information is the 10 times earning multiply, which here I plotted as a dashed green line. 10 times earning multiply can be considered as the price where price to earning, that is the PE ratio, is 10. For me, I consider 10 times earning multiply has two purposes. The first one is that it indicates the price where I have higher chance to break even within 10 years. You could plot 5 times earning multiply if your investment horizon is only 5 years. Okay, second, as a consequence for the first reason, I consider the share price above 10 times earning multiply to be expensive. Okay, the third layer of information is 15 times earning multiply. With the same principle as the 10 times earning multiply, price above this indicator will be deemed as expensive. Here I plotted the 15 times earning multiply as dashed yellow line, just like the traffic light. I'll start feeling nervous if the price crosses this line, particularly for non-growth company. The fourth layer of information is the 20 times earning multiply. Here I plotted as a dashed red line. I would consider the share price to be super expensive if it ever crossed this line. For non-growth company, I consider to cut down my position if this happened. Okay, so now let's see what's going on with UMS share price. So far, UMS has been undervalued by the market up to 2016. Since then, the market seems to realize its potential. We can see that the share price moved up, aligning with its 10 times earning multiply. There's not much market speculation that I can see. But this plot is kind of crowded right now with the three indicators. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit to the last couple of years, okay? Okay, so here are a clear plot for the last 3 years from 2018 to the current time. We can see that the price movements seem to be enveloped by the 10 and 15 times earning multiply. It reached PE 15 in the early 2018, early 2020, and now. It seems to be on the trajectory to get there, yeah, the 15 times earning multiply as I prepared this video on the 25th of July 2021. Also note that I've added here annotations D to indicate the dividend payout date. This marker seems to help to see some short-term trend where the price might dip a little after each of dividend X dates. Okay, feel free to pause the video if you want to look at it, look at the graph more clearly. Okay, just for the sake of completeness, I added back the 20 times earning multiply in this chart. Okay, now it's the decision time. What is the reasonable price? Okay, from the resistance and support trend, my ideal price will be up to $1.2 per share. But considering how the company performed so far in the prospect of the industry, it seems to me price between $1.2 to $1.7 is pretty fair. As the making of this video, UMS share price is in its all-time high of $1.58 per share. Okay, quite reasonable for me considering its profitability and dividend payouts. Okay, so wrap up conclusion. After looking at the numbers and other qualitative insights, I can say that first, it's still a growing company and the market seems to be valuing it conservatively, at least for now, because the price is, there's an uptrend now, okay. Two, the growth is driven by its semiconductor segment. Yes. Okay, 3, considering its growth and dividend payout, this company, I think, at least I think this company is attractive. Okay, considering its current valuation, I think it's a good time to buy for me. Okay, this is not a recommendation to buy. Please research first before making any investment decision. I applaud Daddy Beluga, my husband, for having portfolio here since I think it's a good decision. He doesn't make any YouTube video yet, but you can check his portfolio growth in labratdaddywordpress.com. I put the link in the description box. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave comments and please subscribe to my channel because it means a lot for me. That's all. Bye.
Bye.